Hi guys, welcome to QSO 321 People, Planet and Profit. And today we are going to look at process strategy. Remember, we had looked at process analysis where we have to analyze the process. We have to look at the problems and see how we can improve the process. Now we're going to look at process strategy, meaning that we're going to see what should we plan for in the long term to make sure that our process works. And in this case, we have to decide on the type of process that we're going to set up in the provision of services or in the production of goods. So we're going to look at the number of things. First of all, we're going to look at the forward and backward integration, and then we'll look at the types of production. And we will also look at types of processing systems and types of service processes. And finally, we will look at the process selection. Processes exist in every functional area, and therefore a decision about the type of processing system has to be made. And selection of that processing system should be strategic. In other words, it is something that will be for a long term. And so it is a long term plan that the company will make regarding how it's going to do its operations or it's going to do its production or provision of services. So if I take an example of this university, we can see that we have two systems. One is we offer education online, and also we offer education on campus. So let's look at vertical integration. And what does that mean? Vertical integration has two sides. One is backward integration, and the other one is forward integration. So what is backward integration? Backward integration is when the company deals with the provision of its raw materials. As we discussed before, in order for the company to produce, it requires inputs, and therefore a company can get inputs from the suppliers. However, the company may decide to involve itself to get inputs or to produce its own inputs and supply to its own. So take an example of King Soopers. King Soopers have in-house processes, and they have backward integration because they provide raw materials. They have their own chicken farms. They also produce flour and sugar, and they supply to their own processing centers. And in this case, they are not depending on the independent suppliers of inputs. They are the suppliers of their own inputs. And so that's what we call the backward integration. So what is forward integration? Forward integration is when a company, after producing goods, then they involve themselves to sell the products, and so they become customers of their own. So in this case, you can find King Soopers grocery stores where they are selling their own products. Another example that looks like this is McDonald's, where McDonald's produces French fries, and so they have their own farms where they produce potatoes. And in this case, they supply to their own in-house processes. And they, after processing products, they supply them to their stores. So they have backward integration and also they have forward integration. So let's look at the types of production. We have three of them. One is make to order, and then the second one is assemble to order, and lastly we have make to stock. Make to order is when production is made according to orders, so there is no inventory that is kept. Assemble to order, a good example is the fast food where you can order your food and then they can assemble the way you want it. And make to stock, in this case, inventory is kept. So companies will produce without having specific orders and then they keep inventory. So those are the three types of production. Now, let's look at the types of processing systems. There are five. One is project process, the second one is job process, the third is batch process, and here we can have small or large, and then we have line process, and finally continuous process. What is project? Project is a set of interrelated activities that have duration, meaning that they have starting time and ending time. And also, projects have a specific outcome, or I'll say unique outcome, and they have a budget. So the construction projects normally do project process because they take an activity and they have duration of doing that particular activity, and they have budget and they have unique outcome. Job process is producing to customers' order, and this is normally done in small batches. Well, a good example of job process is car repair shop, where the work is done as per the customer's order. Batch process is a process where goods or services are produced or provided in batches. It can be large or small batches. Normally, all processes produce in batches. Some produce in large and other produce in small. So here we have also another example that says the machine shop producing parts and components for assembly. So in this case, they can produce in small quantity or in large quantity. And so you can place an order for small quantities or for large quantity. We have seen types of production where we can produce to order, and therefore it all depends on the amount of order. And in that case, production can be in small quantity if the order is small for small quantity, or it can be for large quantity if the order is for large quantity. Line process is when production is in lines, we call production lines or assemble lines, or services are provided in a line. For instance, if you go to cafeteria, you can see that people line up and so they can get service. So that's what we call actually the line process. Or if you go to the stores and at the checkout, you can see a number of lines, and so that is actually what we call line process. And so the service is provided in lines. In production, workers are set at different stages, and each one will do a specific job. In this case, workers will specialize on doing just one specific item. The product will be moved to another level where somebody will do something else. Line process has proved to be efficient and effective for mass production because if employees are set at one place and do just one thing, let's say if it's the car assembly, you may be set where you will just fix the tire. Another person will fix the window, another one will do another job. And by doing that repetitively, then you get used to, and so you become efficient. And so in this case, when employees are efficient on what they do, mass production is possible. Finally, we have continuous process, whereby production and services are done in a continuous flow. For instance, I do teach and I teach every day, so I can say that is the continuous process. Oil drilling is a continuous process, or the checkout at the grocery store is a continuous process. They do exactly the same thing continuously. So on the side of the service, there are three types of service processes. We have front office, we have a hybrid office, and back office. Hybrid office includes both front office and back office at the same time. And front office, an example is the service that you get at the front desk in the post office. So in this case, there is face-to-face service between the customer and the person that is providing the service. Now, the back office is when the service is provided at the back where customers are not involved. And the example of this is the check clearing, where the customer will provide the check at the front desk. However, the service can be done at the back office, where somebody will make sure that the check is clear, and then they can provide the front office. So if the service is done at the back office and also at the front office, we call that hybrid office.